Welcome to part 2 of our episode with Richard Shaw. Thank you very much for everybody tuned into episode 1. If you haven't already, check it out. The link is in the bio. So thank you very much. Listen in. It's going to be a good one.
What I like to do, Rich, is I like to ask, it's something I brought into a podcast I was doing with Hull City, a thing called Tackle Fight Night. So you've got these three players, you've got Mickey Adams, Razor Ruddock and Eric Cantona. You've got to fight one, take a tackle off one, and go on a night out. So who are you going on a night out with then, out of the three of them?
You'd have to take Razor, wouldn't you?
I'd have to take Razor because
3-day bend.
Mickey I'd probably tackle. Is it tackle? No, Cantona's tackle.
Yeah, so you're going to take a tackle off Cantona?
Yeah.
You're going to go for a fight with Mickey
For Mickey,
Adams?
yeah, because we had our differences, but we're good now.
We're
good now, yeah, absolutely.
And then
we got differences.
Cantona on a night out, so...
and Razor
on a night out, sorry.
on a night out. Yeah, yeah,
Where do
I
you
would.
reckon Razor's taking you?
Razor, well, I mean, I've not seen Razor live or anything like that, but you hear stories about Razor. I mean, yeah. He's just a great character, isn't he? Great character. I mean,
Top bloke.
But people forget how good a player he was as well.
Mate, unbelievable. I promise you now, I know it's your podcast shows you, but I played him in the FA Cup second round when he was at Swindon. Slightly overweight, and he won't mind me saying it, but mate...
It was unbelievable. He was, I think, the same age as me.
Player.
I think 17 he got a move from Millwall to Tottenham.
That was it.
Then Tottenham to... Where'd he go? Southampton. Then Southampton back to Tottenham. Tottenham to Liverpool. Liverpool somewhere else.
Unbelievable.
People forget, because people see that's persona of Razor. But people see that side of him. People have not seen just how good a left foot and how good a player he actually was. Massive character. And I think sometimes that's what the game misses, if I'm going to be honest, it's characters. Yeah. Characters in the game, and Razor was certainly a character as well as being a top player.
Similar characters to that I can saw growing up would be Dean Windass and Jimmy Bullard.
Yeah, Jimmy,
came to Hull. And honestly, if you're watching Jimmy, please come on this. I'd love to sit and have a chat with Jimmy Bullard.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's brilliant. I had a story about when he went. Chris Coleman took him in Fulham. I think they went to Austria for pre-season, and Jimmy found out what room Chris Coleman was in, and basically what Jimmy did, he put all the drinks he was getting on Chris's room. By the way, this is manager of Fulham, by the way. Manager of Fulham. He went down to the golf shop and like that and bought himself a driver, a putter, a bit of clothing, everything like that.
Put it all in Chris Coleman's room.
Put it all in Chris Coleman's room, and I think the bill come to about $3 or $4 grand, probably.
Yeah, if not more.
And Chris just paid it. Chris knew it was him, but again, it's man management, isn't it? Yeah. And Chris knew it was him, had a few words and said, but don't worry, I paid the bill, but
because he was such a character and very good for the dressing room, you kind of accept it, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, he's brilliant. You hear stories about Jimmy. Yeah. I mean, brilliant golfer, great fisherman. I did some of his podcasts, funny enough, when he's been doing it. Yeah, off the hook. Yeah. I mean, I watch him now on Soccer AM. He's just a live wire, isn't he? Just a live wire.
Where does he get his energy from?
I don't know.
All the time,
it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's absolutely incredible. I mean, I hear so many stories about him. He's incredible.
I don't want to take this away from you.
No. But I think Razor would be. I mean, you think about Razor grew up in the same area as myself, where after a game we did go for a pint. Yeah. You know, I don't think you couldn't do it now, Scott, could you? I don't think you could do anything now because A, social media. Yeah. B, everyone's taking photographs. B, the media after you. Blah 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 blah. But I think back in them times when we was growing up, you could do that. And Razor was a proper character, you know, and I think we learned a lot of it from Millwall. He's been there as a young player, and but yeah, I'd love a night out with him. I don't know if I could keep up with him. I mean, I've had a few nights out with a few people.
That's really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember having a night out. I say night out. It was an afternoon out with Dominic Matteo. He was at Liverpool. Dom was at Matteo, and Dom was with John Eustace at Marbella. So I go to Marbella every year. We play a bit of golf, to be perfectly honest. We love it, and we go to a few bars sometimes during the day or whatever. And we went to one of the bars. It was the Ocean Beach Bar, and we booked a table from 12 o'clock, and 12 o'clock till 9. And I wouldn't say it was a massive session compared to what probably some players are, but from 12 till 9. 12 o'clock till 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night, we just sat there and just literally, you know when you just like have the bit of banter with people. So Dominic Matteo, John Eustace, Paul Robertson at Millwall, Neil Ardley was from Wimbledon, myself. I think one of the DJs at Liverpool was with us as well.
It's good characters,
there were 7 of us, really good characters.
Just flowing conversation.
And you're sitting in a circle. This is what's great about football, camaraderie. And you're literally pints,
Throwing
food, pints, throwing stories. And Dominic was Briggs. I didn't really know Dom, but he was just
another character, wasn't he?
Another character. And some of the things you tell us, and he brought up a few stories about Razor, which is why it reminded me of him. Because obviously he was with Liverpool. He was at Liverpool with Razor, and of course with Fowler and them people. That was a hell of a team and a hell of a school. So. I think them days, unfortunately, them days have gone. I really feel that.
I think you only see that now at the lower levels, don't you? Non-league sometimes.
Well, even that though, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's tough to try and get these personalities out.
I think that's how it is.
You need to get the personality. As soon as you get the personality out, that's it. It creates a bigger atmosphere, a better atmosphere.
I think it does. And this story is my mate Stephen Hughes, really good friend of mine, was at Arsenal. When Wenger
What a player
came
he
in.
was as well, by the way.
He's a good player, wasn't he? Very good player. And he went to Everton, he went to Watford. He came with us to Coventry at one stage. And he was telling me when Wenger came in, and especially when Bergkamp came in, the change.
Yeah.
The change of Merson, Adams and Ray Parlour were going out.
Ray
still doing it now, and he obviously.
We say the Monday Club and stuff
the
like
Tuesday Club, etc.
Yeah.
And I think he was saying Bergkamp came in, Vieira came in, Petit came in, and like Christmas do, they're all sitting there like with just water, and everyone's just getting smashed, etc. And they're like, this isn't the way to behave. And I think the change started.
It was.
Whereas I listened to something Roy Keane said the other day, funny enough, was everyone was doing it. Everyone was going out having a pint, having a drink after games, blah blah. But Arsenal stopped doing it, and the difference is that was a little tiny change in Man United. So they stopped doing it as well. They started. Roy was talking about it, about how his diet became his be all and end all at times.
He was obsessed, wasn't he?
Obsessed with it. Yeah. And that's when the football started becoming. I'm not saying more professional because it was professional back then. People want to play. People want to win.
But again, levels though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
just them
small margins.
Yeah.
And I think Wenger had that. And Bergkamp certainly had that, being schooled in Dutch football.
It's funny how you mention that, because obviously they take it to that level, and then we see most recently, I think you saw it in the news, not with Ronaldo coming to Man U. In terms of the people that are now in the canteen or whatever after training at Man U are no longer having a rhubarb and custard after training.
Yeah, I've seen that. I read that.
I might as well have a bit of octopus as well. Do you know?
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's amazing how someone coming in can just have that potential special.
Football's a trend, though.
Such a massive name here.
It's a trend.
It is a trend. It is a trend because I remember seeing a lot of clubs tend to follow other clubs. I remember seeing, but everyone now's got these rubber bands that go around their knees.
Warm-ups. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I saw Southampton doing that when I first went to Southampton when I can't remember who I was with now. On St Mary's pitch, and everybody's bang. What's these bang? What are they doing?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the players are doing it. And all of a sudden everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
So sometimes if something comes in,
of course it is.
People are very quick to jump on top of it.
FOMO, it's a fear of missing out.
Well, I know it's a shin pad, but look at Jack Grealish, shin pad. How many people do it now?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a knock-on effect.
Exactly.
But
but it's
chance to be a fair thing.
But I mean, I think that has gone. That kind of camaraderie now has sort of disappeared away from the game, and it's become.
Do you think it comes in different ways now, though?
I don't think that'll ever come back, though.
No, it'll never come back.
I don't think it'll ever come back. I really don't.
Because and it won't come back because of social media. And like I said, I like there's good about social media, but there's bits I don't like.
The only time we saw stuff like that was in the media. With the
that's only the bigger players, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. When you see stuff like that came out in the news, but if it was to happen nowadays, it'd be 50,000 times retweeted.
Exactly. I mean, you could take a picture of someone literally in a bar having a drink. It could be his first drink. Could be someone's
6
first
stories
drink.
about that.
And then someone take a picture, and then all of a sudden it will just go to
12
someone
beer.
is absolutely having a night out. This is his 12th beer, and the people believe it. Once it's in print, unfortunately, people are so naive that they do believe
it.
And
then they pay for the hits, to be fair.
Google 100%. And I've seen it happen. Yeah, 100%.
We were speaking like this off air, weren't we, beforehand, and you was a journalist and you talked to us about exactly how it works. So it's a tough one, because everything's under scrutiny.
They want money.
I really want to know about your highlights and your lowlights of your career, but I don't want to move past this without touching on Eric Cantona.
Well, this is what I'm saying about the two-footed tackle, so that could be perfectly going into the two-footed tackle of...
I'm taking the tackle from Eric, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're taking the tackle of Cantona.
Yeah. The biggest famous...
I don't tend to... The way I do this, I don't like to read up on someone, because every time you have an interview, probably everybody knows everything about you. I'd rather just hear what you're saying and take that on board. So I had a little look at Wikipedia, and it mentions about how you was the guy that was harassing Cantona.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, and then Wikipedia is strange.
No, but it shows you know what.
I want to edit that.
Yeah, you know the scary thing about Wikipedia. Forget Wikipedia because footballers just ignore that. Yeah. But Palace was a very good football club, but when the big boys come into town, I mean, you might be different. You can antagonise certain people and try and get a little bit of bite off them. You're not saying they're the better player, but what you're saying is you try and win these little battles. If you can win this small battle, then you might win the war. Yeah. Going on to Cantona, you've got to chew his little ear. Is he going to bite? Is he going to not?
His quality might be higher than yours, but to bring him down to your level, you need to do a bit of intimidation.
No, that's what I'm saying, but there's ways. I mean, I've been in lower levels. I've been in tunnels where you say, I'm going to fucking smash you. Try and get in someone's head very, very quickly. That could work in our favour. It might not, but you try it. You know, there's gaffers that have gone, just fucking smash him.
It's prime example, Nigel Martin, as you mentioned. Was it Joe Jordan? Or was the name mentioned?
Billy Whitehurst.
Billy Whitehurst.
Yeah.
That's a prime example.
I think with the Man United one, with Eric, when the fixtures come out in June, wherever you are, holiday, whatever it is, the first team I look for, Man United. Man United, because you know when they come to town, they're going to be sold out. Yeah. When we play Man United home, we play Man United away, and then you start going down to your Liverpools, your Chelseas, blah blah blah. But Man United's always a draw. 100% is a draw. Biggest club in the world. Yeah. Biggest club in the world. Yeah. In terms of everything. So when they come to town, they come to town. That particular night, January, I don't know if it's on another night, because January 25th, every single year, someone phones me up and wants to do a piece about it or something along them lines. Yeah. So, and it was that, and they literally just signed Andy Cole for $7 million, and he was making his debut for United against us. And it's funny because I've obviously down the years, I've hardly spoken about it, I have to say, until a couple of years ago probably, because it's funny because at the time, I think it was Ferguson saying, oh, you know, he's smashing Cantona our place, or whatever it was saying, he was smashing Cantona everywhere, he's getting into the air, blah, blah. Absolutely 100% no. 100% no, nothing happened like that. It was no intimidation, it was absolutely nothing. And I read...
Just didn't give an easy game?
Just, yeah. I mean, my thing about defending was getting tight to people. Yeah. I used to nick balls in front of people. I could read the game quite well.
I was going to say, he's very good at that.
Yeah, I could read the game quite well, where the ball was going to be, etc., etc. So when people said you were given a role to man mark him, absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Because my thing about Man United, who do you man mark?
You can't.
It's too many.
You just can't. Yeah,
I mean, you've got Irwin and Parker who get forward for fun. You've got King and Ince in midfield. You've got Giggs and Kanchelskis. You got Andy Cole and you've got Cantona. And then you've got Lee Sharp coming in and you've got someone else. You need to man mark everyone. So that was a complete fallacy. Absolutely it was. So there was nothing in that.
So before the obviously famous karate kick, how was the game going? Was it I can't remember what score it was. Can you? What was it?
We drew the game 1-1.
Yeah. But there wasn't nothing between the two sides, was it?
Nothing between the two sides. I think we went 1-0 up, maybe. They scored and went 1-1. They really had to get something from our game, because I think they were chasing with Blackburn for the title. Yeah. So other than that, to be fair, Scott, there was nothing untoward, and it's really funny because a couple of years later, 4 or 5 years later, possibly, I was away on holiday, and I was reading a book from a journalist. I won't say his name because I'm not going to name check him, but it's from a journalist, and I've seen the game back 3 or 4 times, so I know I'm fine. I've got no problem with it. And this journalist absolutely hammered me in his book, saying I was kicking in, punching this and that, blah blah blah. And I'd actually phoned my lawyer to take action, because he's sort of defamation of character. And I was actually thought about, because so much shit was written about it, and especially him, I was actually going to take him to court and sue him for that, because I know I've seen the game back, so it couldn't happen. And then you sort of find out how much it's going to cost and all that. And I just thought, you know what? Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone now. And people make their own minds up of it, etc., etc. You know, the fact you go back to United and get booed every time you pick the ball, blah blah. That's fine. That's part of football. So there was nothing untoward about it. It literally came from, I think it's maybe 30 seconds before that, they had a throw-in, and I had this habit of wrapping my legs around people, just nicking the ball in front of me.
Very good at that as well, by the way.
And that happened, and I went back to Schmeichel, he booted it up, and I was chasing it back into the channel and Cantona. It was, in my opinion, an innocuous trip. I don't think he meant it. I think it was just an innocuous trip, and before you know it, it was round. And then the referee, I think it was Alan Wiley at the time, I can't remember his name, he sends him off. Now, did he deserve to be sent off? I didn't think he deserved to be sent off. He's obviously already in the yellow. But as he's walking off, obviously someone's come down for the crowd and said something. Now, whether it's a racial connotation, well, I still don't know what it is. Now, if it is, he deserved it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
but it was just when you see it happen, you're just like, oh my God, did I just see that?
But that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I've watched the game so many times over and over. There was nothing to say that he was going to ever do that ever.
No.
I mean, you, Jeff Thomas, whoever it would have been.
I haven't said that, Scott. He's got a history of it. He's got a history of doing it in French football. That year he done it. He stamped on, I think, John Polston at Swindon or Norwich, wherever it was, and I think it was someone else. So with Eric, I think with all the very, very great players, they've always got that mechanism.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That at any time, I mean, we call them Mavericks, don't we? Yeah. We call them Mavericks, and I think that was just that time. Now to do what he did to someone, is obviously not acceptable. But if someone's called him something he's not quite happy with, and he's done it, I'm like that. That is wrong. What the
thing is, though, it kind of glossed over your performance and result, didn't it?
It did because 1-1. Yeah, we drew 1-1.
Do you know what I mean?
Is it a result you wouldn't have expected?
Well, you take a point all day long, wouldn't you?
Oh, I take it.
Jesus Christ.
If I'm looking at Man United in the fixture list, I'm thinking if we could take 2 points from them or 1 point from them, you're delighted. But with Eric, what I've also said about Eric is he's one of the most hardest, best players I've ever played against. Just in terms of ability, everything like that. Yeah. And I think sometimes when journalists phone me up and they want me to go, he's out. No chance. He was absolutely brilliant, phenomenal, great character. I'd have him in my team all day long.
The thing is, forget his personality on the pitch, you'd still have him, wouldn't you?
100%. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. I'll never say a bad thing about him. It's just an iconic event because of what happened. Yeah. But I just think he's absolutely. For me personally, 6 months. I wouldn't have banned him for 6 months. Yeah. And I think at some stage as well. I don't know whether this is right. I don't know. People say fans pay their money to say what they like. I don't think they can say what they like. And I think nowadays the game's changed, but they can't now say what they like.
No,
because you can't.
No, you can't.
We've recently gone through this, haven't we, with the process against the Allens
and
stuff like that. And a lot of our fan base are like, well, we're the customers. We're always right. So that's one view they have, or they might go down another route of saying, I can say what I want. Well, no, mate, that isn't how it works. No. It doesn't work like that. You don't just instantly have a right to say what the hell you want.
But that's social media, innit? Doing that side of things, do you know what I mean?
That's another ugly side of it, isn't it?
Yeah. So what was it like after the full time then? Was the place surprised? Was it like... I can't imagine being in that dressing room. All of a sudden you've just got a great point, but the talking point is Eric Cantona.
And do you know what we hardly didn't see it, to be fair. And we ended up... I don't know, back in the day, I think it might have had a Betamax video or something like that, and pressing play and rewind. I don't know what it was. But we saw it again afterwards. When it's the first time I saw it after the game. I was obviously shocked what happened, but I just tried to keep my head down and not do any interviews. But Alan Smith, I think, was a manager at the time. He loves an interview, whatever, Smithy. And I think he'd said a few bits, and I think Fergie said a few bits, so Alex for some people, I think. But one of the funniest things I heard was because Eric was... So Alex treat him like a maverick, treat him different to other players, and I think that's a skill of man management. Yeah. You know, it's not just treating everyone the same. Yeah. Sometimes you've got to make leeway for it, and I think you've been doing that for Eric quite a lot. And so I think from what I've gathered, the United lads went in.
I've heard this story. Brilliant.
Huh?
I've heard this
story.
You heard
it, it was in there, and it's like. I think it was David May and
Pally. There was some giggling going on.
Because they've all gone in there and thought, he's going to get it now. Yeah. Because Giggsy always used to get it, didn't he? And everything like that. And
he's giving the finger point to everybody.
Yeah. He's gone in there, and he's apparently hammered. He's hammered David May, I think, and Pallister for letting us equalise or scoring the first goal. He's hammered so and so. As he's gone round, he said, "You see, you two midfield, you got to get it back." He's pointing at Cantona. He said, "Eric, you can't do that, son." And he just glossed over it, didn't he? Glossed over it. Glossed over the biggest carnage you've had. He's having everyone else.
And that's exactly what it was.
And that's the respect he had from the manager, because the manager knew that he was going to give him games.
Yeah.
I would never have banned him for 6 months. I would never in a million years. No. I think he's too good a player to watch and to have in the Premier League to start banning. I don't think he deserved that.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
I thought he was outstanding, absolutely outstanding.
So that's Eric then. You say you're back on good terms now, but
I mean, I see Mickey afterwards and that, and it's just one of them relationships that just didn't work at the time. Pete Reed had just left. When did you leave, Scotty?
Strachan let me go, so that'd have been
Still sort of an essence.
99, 2000. Yeah.
So we had quite a few different changes of management.
I was going to say, so obviously through the Strachan era then, how did it affect the players, or was it a better thing? Was it a good feeling? Was it a bad feeling?
Him going, or
Yeah.
no? Strax was probably the best manager I've worked under.
Yeah.
In terms of discipline, in terms of training sessions, in terms of the intensity.
So hands-on as well,
the
wasn't he?
intensity he used to play and train at was just,
Yeah.
and the recruitment was good.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to remember we recruited really good players. I mean, George Boateng came to the final for
100%,
a quarter of a million.
Yeah.
I mean, we sold him for 4.
What a player.
You got Huckers, George Boateng.
What a
Big
player.
fan, George.
You got Darren Huckabee came in for $1 million. Sold
I
him
think
for
it was Darren Huckabee.
sold him for
Was
5.
he bright or?
Hucks was brilliant. I loved Hucks.
What a lad.
I absolutely.
Is he really bright or not bright?
No, the story I can remember about Darren Huckabee, we had a Coke machine in the canteen bit. He put 50p in, pressed the button and just fucked off. Just forgot his can. It's like, how would you forget the can? Do you know what I mean? It's just little things like that. You just think,
He was brilliant.
what a lad
He was
for the
brilliant.
dressing room and everything like that.
I sort of really warmed to him. Me and him were really palled up
Yeah.
together afterwards. So he was like that. And I mean, one day, do you remember Match Magazine? Or is it Shoes?
Yeah,
Like that.
that was it.
One day they
Match and
phoned up the club for Darren Huckabee to do a double page spread about some Q&As, blah, blah, blah. And he wasn't in the physio, so I took the phone when I took the call. He goes,
remember this.
it was Jenny. Jenny phoned down and she goes, which is Darren there? I goes, no, back about 5 minutes. She went, I said, "What, you all right?" He goes, "Yeah, we've got Match Magazine, he's got the interview." I said, "Oh, no, but I called back in 5. So they called back in 5, I picked the phone up, I pretended to be Darren. Well, I was doing Darren, Shoot Magazine. He goes, "Darren, yeah, doing it, blah, blah." And they started interviewing him and saying, going like, "So, where do you feel like you need to go, you need to be better in the game, this and that?" And I was actually answering with Darren. I was going, "Yeah, I need to be stronger. 6-pack, I've got a bit of weight, need to be stronger, this and that." Because he was massively proud about his 6-pack. And he said, like, how do you think it's going to Coventry? Yeah, Coventry's a stepping stone. I'm looking at back top 4, this and that. And I started all these answers. Anyway, I forgot about it. He said, "Thank you, Darren."
You know the best thing about it? I'm sure you put something like, "Do you travel in everybody?" Yeah, I pick Gary McAllister up and I play the
So
guitar
like,
with him. It's like fucking brilliant. Like, honestly. All this got printed as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Did it actually get printed?
It got printed about 3 weeks later. I forgot about it. And all of a sudden, I was at my house in the Midlands and the phone's gone. And it was Huck. So I went, "You all right, mate?" Because we used to phone each other every day. He goes, "Charles, I can't believe it. Someone's just come out of Match Magazine, double page spread." He said, "I've not said nothing." I went, and I just thought, "Oh, shit. It's come out." So I said, "Look, don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll be fine." So put the phone down. I phoned up Strax. I said, "Look, Gaffer, this has come out." I said, "I actually done the interview. So all I can do is apologise. It wasn't Darren, blah, blah." So he said, "Don't worry about it. I'll get him in the office and just hammer him tomorrow anyway, blah, blah, blah."
Oh, really?
So he got Darren in the office and hammered him for it. And I think afterwards he sort of said, "Look, I know you didn't do it, but blah, blah, blah." But it was just absolutely
Quality,
there.
innit?
But we had Hucks on. We had him on toast every single day.
Oh, really?
But yeah, but we had a success from the managers. I mean, Strax went, was gutted, to be fair.
Oh, it'd be good to get Hooks to chat about.
Yeah, I'll give him a shout.
Yeah.
I'll give him a shout.
Yeah, that's something. It'd be
It'd
brilliant.
be great. And then we just went from manager to manager to manager to manager.
I'm going to say there was quite a lot of...
Yeah, Ronald
ins and outs,
Nielsen
wasn't
and
there?
Gary Mack. Eric Black coming was brilliant, to be fair. Really good with Archie Knox, fantastic. I think it's the only time I think I've shed a tear when a manager's gone.
Oh, really?
Eric Black was brilliant, and Archie Knox, he's a fearsome guy. Who's Sir Alex Ferguson's assistant. Really frightening guy. And I literally, when they came in, we beat Gillingham 5-2. It's the only goal scored for Coventry, funny enough. And they got sacked next day, and they came in on a Sunday, and I was gutted. I was gutted. I got in my car and I sort of shed a tear. So I thought they were just great guys.
Yeah.
And I thought they were brilliant coaches. Archie Knox was a massive Rangers fan. Yeah. So we had Archie Knox, Eric Black, Graham McAllister, huge Rangers people, really huge. And I got Archie Knox's phone number, his mobile phone number. Me and Mark Edworthy, I think Mark Edworthy, would drive into training ground. And I'd phone Archie Knox up and he'd go, "Hello." Blah, 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 and I start singing Celtic songs down the phone. And he's like, "Who's this?" he was going mental, like. But he was good as gold, mate, to be fair. Archie was great. Archie was great. But like I said, Mickey come in, we just didn't really see eye to eye. You know, and I think it's one of them ones, I think Mickey would be the first one to say this if he was here. And I've spoken to Mickey since. He said, "Look, I just wanted to make a change of all the senior players." And Billy Owen said, that's fine, but you don't need to speak to the senior players the way that was said. I mean, you're talking about good senior players. You're talking about myself, Steve Staunton, Tim Sherwood, Stephen Hughes,
big
John.
Players as well.
You're talking about
big players.
You're talking about good people.
Yeah.
You're talking about good people. So that was disappointing. We came in straight away. He basically discarded all of us, and I'm going to be honest, which is fine. I've got no problem with that. It's football. It moves on. But I also think there's ways of doing it. You know. So we didn't really see eye to eye. He left me out in a few squads. We always had words, if I'm going to be honest. Up until the last game of the season, you know, I think we almost had a stand-up row. Cardiff.
Did he make you travel then if you weren't in the squad?
Yeah, he tried to. I think we'd had words. I think we'd lost to Palace in a League Cup game, I think it was, and they called me the next day or 2 days later, and the court used to just come down and go, "Shot, the gaffer wants to see you," or Hughesy. It was quite funny actually. I think Mickey will laugh about it now.
Yeah.
It was quite funny. Mickey would always want to see us about something that he'd heard or we'd said or something like that. And
power thing then? Was it a power thing?
I don't know. I don't really know. I think it was. I mean, obviously, look, Mickey wanted to let everyone know that he was number one. And I respect that.
Yeah.
I totally respect that.
There's different ways of doing things, isn't there?
That's quite right.
Yeah.
But we just got off on the wrong foot straight away. And I went in. I remember going in his office and that, and I think he said something like, "Do you want me sacked?" or something along the lines. And obviously, I was fronting it out, you know, things like that. And he said, "You're travelling to Wolves on Saturday, 17th man." I went, "No, I'm not." Right. He said, "No, you are." I said, "No, I'm not." Like that, he said, "No, you're travelling to Wolves." I said, "No, Gaffer, I'm not. I'm not travelling now." I said, "I'll find the chairman up, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm not going." And he said, "Right, get out in. I'll see you Monday, blah, blah, blah." So it was things like that were always happening.
Always heated type
always
of thing.
heated every sort of week, and then it carried on all the way down to the last game of the season. And this is happening once a week.
It's unhealthy though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I mean, I had my testimonial that year. Funny enough, I had my testimonial in April against Celtic, and you know, I didn't really speak to the manager, if I'm going to be honest, before that. So Alan Cork basically sorted it out, and you know, I've sorted it out, so it was all basically done anyway. And but yeah, we just didn't see, and I got in the team second half of the season and played really well with Robert Page, a really good partnership. And we ended up staying up because when I got in the team, we was down in the bottom.
All right.
You know, and I played all through the Christmas period, 3, 4, 5 games with Page in. Obviously towards the end, I don't think the club obviously wanted to offer me another year. I could have done another year quite easily. But I don't think Mickey wanted that, and I think he wanted to move on. I've got no issue with that. I've got no, because that's football.
It's his decision.
It's his decision.
But Matt, because you're
Totally
not in
respect
football, you think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you think the manager gets on with everybody, the players love each other. There's always that little bit of...
I don't think that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Or people that think the football fans, the manager must love everybody. Shows you didn't speak to Mickey for what, 10 weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's always that little element of...
And
there's always something going off. There's always little groups. Do you know what I mean? Not so much now because they're trying to get it as one.
I just think it's two ways. Like I think there's some players that they absolutely love. They get a little bit of leniency and they play them over.
Only because it's the fact that they're doing
second
stuff
way
on a
around,
Saturday.
they begrudge you playing some places. I have to play it, but I can't stand you.
Yeah.
I feel like you get.
I think as a manager, you've got to have that as well. I mean, I'm a coach now.
Yeah.
I'm a coach now, and I've been assistant manager, and I've been blah blah. And sometimes there's people you're not going to get on with.
Yeah.
But you still respect their talent
On the
and
ability, yeah.
And you think, right, they're going to do a job for me, so I need to. Sometimes you've got to take a step back.
Yeah, definitely.
And understand it. And my problem with at that period of time was that I don't think that happened. You know, now maybe Mickey might come on and tell you a different story, but like I said, everything's fine now. That's just life. You have a fallout, and we just did. Like I just refused to go to Wolves. Wasn't doing that, and then.
Did he find you?
No.
Oh, that's all right.
So that was all right, wasn't it? I think one stage, I think he left me and Yuzi out of the team, and we was watching a game next to Richard Keys in the stand because I knew Keysy quite well, and it was just little things like that as well where I think I became a bit of an irritation, and then at the end of the game we beat Cardiff 3-1. I came off with 15 minutes to go, standing ovation, blah blah. Last game of Coventry and that, which was great with Mickey. He didn't have to do that, which was good of him. And then afterwards he just had literally a stand up, like shouting matches and that. And I thought, look, the game's. I remember saying to Mickey, I said, look, Mickey, we've had our issues. The season's finished. Just move on now.
Yeah.
You know, and it was still festering to the point of I wasn't going to turn up to the Player of the Year awards because I knew I had an award that year and I weren't going to turn up to it. You know, and I remember going out. I think all the wives were in the Rico Arena, which is quite a soulless stadium, but all the wives are out there. My wife was there. My wife has been about 5 games in 700. She was there for that one, because it was my last game. I remember coming out saying, I ain't effing well going to this one. And I looked around, all the wives are behind me. I was like, God knows what they must have thought.
Yeah.
But look, that's life. And
Yeah, of course it is.
a couple of years later, I think it might be a year or two later, when I was a coach at Millwall, we played Sheffield United away, and Mickey was the manager at Sheffield. Yeah. I remember having bite to eat at night time with the Millwall coaches, and they said, look, and I was telling them about what had gone on, and really good coach I really respect called Tony Burns, is about 70 years of age now, goalkeeping coach, said, look, be the better man. You shake his hand, you go out there, you shake. And I did exactly that. Yeah. And me and Mickey, we come out, and we actually had to end up with a giggle about it, because like, we shook hands. I said, you all right, Mick? You know, blah, blah. And we had a little conversation. Yeah. You know, he said, look, I said, you didn't have to do what you did at Coventry. You could have done it a different way. He said, no, I had to do it this way to show the senior players that I was making a change. I said, yeah, but there's ways of doing it.
Of course it is. Yeah.
And we both agreed. We both, you know, we shook hands. I went in afterwards for beer and that, and I've spoken to him since, because I've done a bit of work in Florida the last couple of years, and he's been over back and forth there as well, the same company that I used to use, and I spoke to him on the phone a couple of times, you know, and yeah, it's fine. Everything's good, and do you know what? It's football. Yeah. It's football. It's never gonna.
Nothing's ever smooth, is it?
Anything? No, of course.
Nothing's ever smooth.
So, I wasn't actually expecting the tackle fight to run as long as this, but I'm really interested to know what stands out in your career. What was do you know what that thing I've done as a footballer?
Yeah, obviously the FA Cup final obviously stands out.
Massive, yeah.
Obviously stands out because you're playing in front of all around the world, millions. Yeah. You're walking out. I've seen it as a kid because I'm a big football enthusiast.
Like
I
is
said,
that when it was the whole day experience?
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
Oh, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
The song, everything leading up to it, driving into Wembley. You know, there's better players than me that have never played a cup final. You know, and to experience that was just incredible. I mean, there's another couple. I mean, one of them, when I was at Coventry, we had 97. We had to beat Tottenham, and we had to rely on Sunderland and Middlesbrough losing to stay up. And it happened. And we kicked off 15 minutes later. And the reason why that game sticks out is because it was like a full house. It's just the emotion. Yeah. So we kicked off 15 minutes late, and then we found out Middlesbrough drew, and we found out that who was the other one? Sunderland, I think it was, had lost. Yeah. Middlesbrough drew, Sunderland lost, and we were 2-1 up with 50 minutes to go. So we had a feeling we'd beat Tottenham because we was decent in them days. Well, having said that, say decent, we're popping a bloody league, but fighting for survival. But we knew Tottenham weren't Tottenham what they are now. So we knew we had a chance. And we 2-1 up with 15 minutes to go, and we're like, we've got our own to us, and it's just the sheer emotion of when the final whistle goes. It's like scoring that first goal we talked about earlier. Yeah.
So is that the time where you was just about to go on holiday 4 days later?
Yeah, went to Iron Appa. Went to Iron Appa.
Tell Matt about the don't go near big dunk.
Don't go. That was another one.
So this is what I'm saying. So you know when people are playing during the game, you've got to understand that these players talk about certain things. Sure.
So we had that one. So that was the year '97, and then in '98 we had a really good year. I think we finished in the top 10. I'm sure we finished in the top 10. So just emotion from that game was just incredible. I mean, it was unbelievable. The following year we were top 10, and I think we won 9 games on the trot. I think come February, March. I think we was 6th or 7th at one stage. We ended up finishing about 8th, I think, something along the lines. And the tables were turned, so we had to go to Everton. And Everton won a relegation battle with Bolton, and Everton had to just better Bolton's result. Bolton were away at Chelsea, which is a tough gig for them. Yeah. But the atmosphere at Goodison Park. I mean, having said that, now you said that, Scott, that's one of my favourite games, I have to say. Goodison Park, full house,
unbelievable.
Atmosphere, the stadium, I don't know if you've been to Goodison Park.
Tight, innit?
It's really, really tight. And every time you go off the pitch and get ball, you can hear everything. And I remember Duncan Ferguson and Maydar, I think the centre forward was 2 big brutes. They were just like, you got to let score, Amber, this and that, right? So before the game, you got to score.
That's what happens. It's brilliant.
It's a nervousness because they had to beat Bolton's. So before the game, I'm saying to Paul Telfer and Noel Whelan and Dan Huckabee, right, lads, we're off to Iron Appa, right, in 3 days' time. Don't antagonise Big Dunk because he will knock us out.
This is brilliant.
He will knock us out. Don't antagonise Big Dunk, right? So every time the ball comes in Big Dunk, I'm like, tight, bang, plays back, blah, blah, blah. So you still got to play your game. You still got to do that. So we're 1-0 down, and it got to 1-1, and I'm looking the second half. The game's going on up there. And I've just gone like that. I've just turned round, and Paul Telford's having a scrap with Duncan. Big Dunk, and Dunk's just turned around. I think Ed Butler was like that. Telf's eye is just. And we drew 1-1. Crowds come on the pitch, everything like that. They've stayed up. It was just incredible. Get a change of after. Look at the Telf like that, right? I'm like, what did I tell you? What did I tell you to do? 2 days later, we're lying around the pool. I never forget, it's called the Olympic Hotel in Ayia Napa. We sit around the pool. And Telf's sitting there. Telf's on a lounge or whatever like that. And his eyes just black and blue. And we just started laughing at him. We said, what did we tell you before the game?
But how
Don't
good's that
get involved
before
with
a big, massive game? Don't get involved in front of Big Doug.
Don't
Whatever
get
you do,
involved.
just we're going Ayia Napa. How good's that?
But you say things like that just to ease your nerves
But it's
as well.
brilliant, knowing it. It's absolutely, it's class.
With players like Big Doug, you see it as Doug's this furious guy on the pitch, he doesn't stand for any crap. Did he also give you respect after the game? So for instance,
He's
you had a
brilliant.
really good game against him.
Yeah.
We got on, mate. He did well.
He's, do you know what?
Matt, the thing is,
really good
the
at that.
difference is, you've got two different people. You've got a person on the pitch and the proper person off it. And the one that's on the pitch wants to win so bad, it's a total different flip of the coin with how they are.
Whatever happened, it stays on the pitch.
Totally. I mean, he's shows you've seen it.
I've seen players go onto a pitch. I thought I don't even recognise them. They're just complete lunatics. Arguing with the referee. The minute they step off it, they could become normal. Become another.
Well, you mentioned about Duncan. One of the favourite scenes going back to Stuart Bullard again is that.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Oh, that was good.
That?
That little
Brilliant. Yeah.
where he's looking up at him.
Brilliant.
But what again? I said about Eric. You know, the minute they cross the line, they go into game mode.
Yeah.
You know, I look at Duncan. I look at him on the side. He's been first team coach for Everton. He's worked under Ancelotti, Moyes, everyone like that. He's been fantastic.
Yeah.
From what I can hear, he's a fantastic coach. Yeah. But when he was a player, he did everything he could to win a game.
I can imagine his level of discipline as a coach as well.
That it has to be. Yeah, and like I said, he was just a brilliant player. He's an unbelievable player. At times he was unplayable. Yeah. But he seemed to say, I think he saved his best games against Man United because he always scored against United, and it was always like that game up there. Like I said, when United come to town, it's another level of performance.
So we've gone from obviously the highlight, which was staying up last game of the season and to defy the odds. Where did it end? Like, what was the low point? Are we talking Mickey Adams, where it's like you got Coventry?
No, not at all with Mickey. I think one of my low points. I mean, like Mickey, it happens. Every player's have a fallout managers. That happens. So that's fine. I've got no issues with that.
Parcel of it, isn't it?
Low lights. God, that's a really good question, Matt. Obviously, being relegated in 2001 was especially being relegated at Villa Park was a low point because I don't think I think we had enough. I think if we'd signed a few players, John Artson, Lee Carsley came I think in January. If we'd signed them beforehand, I think we would have been fine. And I think anytime if you suffer a relegation, I suffered a relegation with Crystal Palace as well. Again, we should never have been relegated. I think again it was 95, and I think in the Premier League 4 teams went down. It's the only time they've ever done it. 4 teams went, and we was 4th from bottom. And we was also we was in the semi-final of the FA Cup and semi-final of the League Cup. So we came 4th. We had 4. Number 4 was not great for us that year. We come 4th from bottom. I don't think we did deserve that. But having said that, if you come 4th from bottom, you do deserve that because over 38 games, you are where you are.
Doesn't matter, does it?
Wigan did it.
Yeah. So it was the relegation. With relegation at this point, because I think relegations. I think what people understand, it affects everyone. It doesn't just affect the fans. It affects the people that work at the club. It affects
lose jobs and
it
stuff,
affects their jobs. It affects it affects everyone. You know, it could be the guy who's a steward at the training ground and he's doing it just for tickets. That might not happen. You know, it does. And I think players, and I've probably been there myself. I think players are selfish in terms of that because when they get relegated, the first thing they think about is, well, I need to go into pastures new. And I've been guilty of that. But you don't think about
the bigger picture.
The bigger picture and how it. And I said to you before, since I've
reflect a lot
stopped
more,
playing. Yeah, since I've stopped playing,
you do reflect.
And I'll go if I go to West Ham to watch a game, things like that. I can see what it means.
So when
the passion's unbelievable, isn't it?
Turf to Terraces.
Well,
the passion's massive.
It is.
It really is.
I went. My friend of mine was at West Brom, Ben Garner, and he got his tickets. I never forget he got his tickets for Reading away in the FA Cup. So me and my mate went to see West Brom. away at Reading. They lost 2-0. West Brom in the Premier League, Reading win the Championship. Lost 2-0. And they didn't perform, West Brom. And them fans there, I was in amongst all of them, thousands. All they were moaning about is they've worked all week to save up the money to get down here, and to eat down south is not cheap neither. Didn't get a train back up. And then you listen to them, you think, my God, that is...
Resonates, doesn't it?
It does. That's your life. You know, and
you know, I reckon every single one of them would have given up everything they had right there.
100%. 100%. And like I said, I think sometimes, I don't know how you do this. I think you can do it through social media, but I don't think you will, because you'd end up getting one of them spiteful comments and something like that. The interaction sometimes can work, but then again, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, I don't think this is right when players lose games. And I look at my social media and go, I'm really sorry for the game, because their PR company's done that.
God,
really sorry for the game, blah, blah. Well, so don't be sorry about it. Run around and start tackling and start... Yeah, I don't understand that.
Talk's cheap, isn't it? Talk's cheap.
Yeah, prove it. Yeah. Prove it. So, yeah. I do, like I said, for me, fans are everything. Fans are everything. Fans can make a game and break a game.
So the relegation and letting down...
the
club fans and stuff like
that. Relegation it's a horrible one. It's horrible. I don't care anyone says it's because you spend the whole summer just thinking, what if? What if? Could we have done better in this game? And you end up.
Just as much as you look forward, I can say it from a fan perspective. Just as much as you look forward to seeing that fixture that drop off. We're exactly the same. I can't wait to see when's this game away. When's that game away? When are we doing that? And that's what we're all exactly the same. We've gone the journey with you. You know, as much as passionate as you are, we've gone the same journey with you, don't we? And we win together, lose together. It's just apart from we sometimes shout a bit louder than you guys. But it's
great though. Football's great. When you're winning games and
it's the best thing in the world, isn't it? Best feeling ever.
You get the change room afterwards. You can't beat it.
No,
you can't beat that feeling that
you can't go to an office and do it
with your mate. No, you can't.
Decent sell, you can.
No, but you know what I mean. Honestly, it's unreal. It's phenomenal.
Because you've obviously made a lot of people smile as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you think that deep into it, but you might just want to get yourself 3 points, took yourself a little bit higher. But
win bonus.
I've actually started winning. Win bonus. Yeah. I've actually started thinking about it now more as a coach, because when a team playing 23s are playing, and their parents are watching, or I know for a fact that there could be 50 scouts there, thinking your career could now. One of these scouts might take you on loan, and the players don't perform. It annoys me, you know, and that's when I start thinking it's an opportunity that's gone, and you start thinking about the people that are there watching you.
But they don't get many opportunities, do they?
No, they don't, Scott.
I mean, it's a small window.
Yeah. At any given day, you could go and play a reserve game, and I've done them myself at Palace or Coventry and wherever it is, and playing in front of one man and his dog, but that one man is scouting for him, for that club, and all of a sudden you might think, do you know what, it's pissing down with rain, you're losing 5-0, but you're keeping going. And we'll sign you on that.
And that's the difference. Results and performances. As long as everyone's putting everything in there. But, for me, I don't know who you start, but I've loved this.
Quick 5 questions, haven't it?
Yeah. Sorry. So actually, one of my friends, just while we just went half doing that, one of my friends who I mentioned, I'm going to know Rick Shaw. Oh yeah, I know Rick Shaw. What play? He asked me to ask you, Dean Kinch. He's asked me to ask you, if you was a footballer, where do you reckon you'd be?
What would I like to do?
That is. No, but it's tough.
If I wasn't a footballer, I'll tell you what my dream job would be.
So what you think you would be doing, and also where you'd like to do. It's two.
So what I would like, I mean, because I go away quite a bit, and I've always loved music.
You'd be a rap. Oh, I thought he was going to be a rep.
I've always.
I thought he was going to be an RP for rep.
Well, what was he? What was he reps back in the day? I can't remember. I would love to. I love music, and I'd love to see when I go to a bar or something like that. And I've seen a really good DJ, and I'll see, like, if we go to Marbella, we've got beef or something like that, and I look at the DJ playing, and he is affecting hundreds and hundreds of people just on that tune.
Have you tried to be a DJ, by the way?
No.
It's so hard. Oh, man,
but
I've tried it.
I've tried a little bits of it, but that's what I would love to do.
So hard. Your performance on the pitch affects.
It does.
Yeah, you mess up, you're in a world of bother.
You're massive under pressure, and I've been to clubs where I've seen DJs perform, and I look a bit like Trevor Nelson, one of the people that perform in front of hundreds of thousands of people, whatever lies.
Brilliant.
And I think I would love to do that and have that. Because I remember seeing a DJ once, and I won't name him because obviously you'd be name checking. I can't explain. There was this club once, it's an open air bar, and this song came on, and it was like the Pink Panther. It was like, did. It went really slow, and all of a sudden everyone stopped. The music was going, it stopped, and all of a sudden this beat came in, and I've never seen anything like it. Hundreds of people just went mad. And I thought, you've got that influence.
Oh, that's it.
I would love that. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
That'd be a bit of me.
I'm with
that. Would be a bit of me,
I thought myself, like, I'd love to go into acting myself, but
you got no chance with that band. Three people you'd take on a night out.
Oh my God.
Who you played with?
Well, it'd be us two plus one, wouldn't it?
Well, 100%.
On a night out.
And this is tough because you've got some massive characters that you've been with. Huge characters.
Do you know what? I mean, anyone who's a Sky Blue fan and a Coventry fan,
I know exactly
are absolutely screaming Noel Whelan
right
now.
What did I tell you?
They are screaming.
There you go.
You mentioned his name.
It was so obvious, Noel Whelan.
They are.
This one name in the
honestly,
podcast, but you mentioned so much in the build-up to this.
So I'd have to take Noel out, because if I didn't, people were going, why ever not? Are you taking Noel out? But oh my God,
I've just won with that anyway.
I don't know if I could take him out, to be fair. I don't think I'd last a night.
He'd kick windows, wouldn't he?
Willow I'd take out. We used to go out quite a bit, me and Willow used to go out quite a bit.
The guy that didn't like you,
I just had a feeling he just didn't like me. I don't know what it was. He just didn't.
Do you know what it was though, Scott? Do you know what it was? I think he was hard on the young players.
He was very hard.
He was hard on the young players, and I think because he was upbringing at Derby, I honestly think he transferred that into
100%.
into us.
I get it now.
But I think he
totally
done it for
now.
I think he done it for the good.
Yeah, he did massively.
Yeah.
But when I was thinking, but why? But like you say, it wasn't just me. It was a lot of us.
Yeah.
But you don't realise, again, until you're out the game, you kind of go, all right, I get what you mean. But it took me 20 years to realise, all right, that's what it is.
But then you do realise. I was with him the other day, and he's just the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
And I've worked really well with him, you know. But
totally get it.
and he was hard. He was really hard on John Eustace. He was massively hard on John Eustace. To a point they squared up on the way to Liverpool to a game. They squared up, you know. So we done that at Liverpool, and the night before we was like, got up there, and it was like, I said to Willow, I want a cup of tea. I need a cup of tea. So we were playing cards. So Willow's sitting next to me, right? And I knew I could sort of goad Willow into doing it. So I said, a cup of tea. I said, Willow, who's the youngest one on the pitch? He's the one who's the coach. Because the youngest one always does the teas.
Yeah.
So I said, I think it's Eusty. So Willow's like, Eusty, tea. Like that, right? So I'm looking at Eusty, he's like, he ain't moving here. Right, he ain't moving. Right? So about a minute later, the cards are still going. I said, where's that cup of tea gone? And Willow's like, and I was
prodding him a bit.
Prodding him.
Just a little prod.
Eusty, get the teas. Get the teas, you're the youngest. Like, there it goes. And all of a sudden, Eusty's like, I'm not the youngest, it's Kirky's the youngest. You know, like Chris Kirkland, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So by now, we've just gone, by now, Willow's in full flow. And it's like 5 minutes gone now. I said, I still ain't got my tea, but I said, move. So he got out and he literally stand-up fight with, not a fight, just a few grapples with Eusty. And he pulled Eusty's chain off. And he used it, I don't know what it was, it's quite sentimental. And he all claim was, you wait till tonight, lock your door tonight, I'm going to lock your blah, blah. And Eusty's like, hey, yeah, come on in. Eusty since has told me he was crapping himself, to be fair.
You would.
So he was the youngest one. And I looked at Eusty then, you know, you talk about making players.
Yeah.
John Eustace was about 18 at the time. And we were senior pros. And we was on our way to Anfield the next day. And Willow's going, make sure you lock your door tonight, I'm going to come and get you. So, and we sat down. When we actually sat down, and I stopped goading him. I said, you know what? I said, he will do me.
Oh, big time, big part of that.
He will do
Stand
me.
up.
He stood up for himself. Right, I tell you what, mate, he's one of us. And we took him away at the end of the season. We paid for his trip. We went to Marbella, which we do go golfing. We have a bit of a laugh and joke as well. But we took him. We said, come on, you come with us this year. You're coming with us to Marbella, and we're going to have a few beers, and we're going to round the golf. And we treated him. We treated him. We said, come on, you come away with us. And it's incredible. Just what you just got from that moment. I look at Eusty now. I'm not saying that moment made him, but when I speak to John,
big part of it.
When I speak to him, he says it's one of the best things that's happened to me.
You never know, do you? You might have had a couple of instances beforehand where he's back down.
Absolutely.
It's going back down.
Absolutely.
And this is me.
And he knew we could trust him.
Yeah.
We could trust him on the ball because we could trust him there. We trust him. We passed him the ball. We trust him with the ball. So,
100%.
So yeah, I probably picked. So who have I got so far? Noel and Willow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to take Eusty.
Oh, I thought you said John Salako. I've lost my bet.
Oh no.
But he's going to be happy. Sally's not going to be happy with you, sir.
No, I know. Yeah. To be fair though, no. Hang on a second. Let me change all that around.
There you go.
Let me change all that around.
Sally, you're going to be absolutely spewing soon.
I'll tell you who I'm taking. I'm definitely taking Willow.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Chris Coleman. Because he was my partner in crime
I've heard he's a bit of a good lad as well.
at Palace.
He
was my partner in crime at Palace, and we had some great nights out. Great nights. Chris likes a beer. He's old school. He's you know, likes music and that. So Willow, Chris Coleman, and if I don't take Eustace, he will. Oh no,
Willen's been absolutely bombed off.
Yeah, the only thing I can say it because Noel's got too much for me. He's got too much for me. When you understand. I'd have to let it go. I can't do that. I'll end up in trouble.
Wow.
I'll end up in big trouble. So I think them three are decent.
That's a good night out though, to be fair.
It's a good night out.
Last one then, we'll end on this then. Who's the most boring player you play with? So we
Oh my God.
I've got one at Coventry straight away.
Did you say most boring?
Yeah, I've got one at
who's the
Coventry.
guy who want to interact with anyone, he goes straight. Any chance he gets, he's picking his
Josie, I had to sit with this lad. I was in the first team, Derby County away, 1997. You was there. He was the worst mistake in the world. There was no other choice apart from sitting there, and he bored me for about 3 hours.
Go on.
But Dion Dublin knew the gaffer was coming on, so he just threw me a porn mag and went, "Yeah, Scotty, look at this." And I was like, "What?" Gaffer went, "What are you doing?" I went, "Nothing." This bloke was like going on about Australia. Oh my God.
John Aloisi?
No.
Goalkeeper.
John Filan.
Oh, John Filan. I never really got to know John.
Oh my, yeah, exactly.
He was there when I was there.
Oh, he's boring, mate.
He was there when I was there.
Oh my God.
I'm sure he went to Blackburn.
Mate, he was the most boringest bloke in the world. Chris Kirkland was boring as well, to be honest.
Who?
Chris Kirkland.
Kirky?
Yeah, boring.
He was Oggie's disciple, though.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, boring.
He was massively.
Absolute boring. Lovely lad, by the way, Chris, but boring.
I couldn't really pick one, but I thought I'd end up getting a phone call. I'm sure I would.
Chris Kirkland, seriously, don't tweet me or anything, but...
Scott Goodwin.
No way, Shorty, come on, son. Come on, son.
I can't say that. I don't really know. I've been quite lucky in a way. I think a lot of change rooms I've always been in.
When you've been Norwich, all I've seen is good things that you've had. Like,
I've loved Joe, Matt.
The bad, the ugly, or the...
But listen, Shorzy, without bigging him up, Shorzy will go into a dressing room and lighten it up straight away. He's got that personality, he's got the character, he's got the backup with the football ability anyway. So straight away, you're automatically going to go, top man. Without a shadow of a doubt.
I did really enjoy it. Like I said, the negativity for me, like I said, was the racism back in the day. Because even when you're in changing rooms, you think this needs livening up. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
You've got to line the changing room up. You've got
and
to
you was the one to
go in there,
spark it up,
have a bit of banter.
I
wish, I did like. I mean, funny enough, I had was in at Watford the other day, and we got a speaker in our changing room. So we all been like social distancing at the moment. The last 3 or 4 days, we had a speaker in there. What the kids are left in there. And we started playing some tunes just while we're working. Yeah. So I've taken over. Brilliant. I've taken over the tunes. So I'm doing the old Trevor Nelson, all the old 80s soul stuff and everything like that. The lads are loving it at the moment. One of the guys put on something the other day. Elliot Goulding? Is that
Goulding?
Who's that? Is that Elliot Goulding?
Yeah.
He put something like, I said, what are you doing with that?
Yeah. That's at least 5 years old.
Yeah, I said, get rid of that. So I got his phone, chucked that out and started bang on again. I'm really into I don't know if you guys are it, Money Heist. Have you seen it?
Netflix. On Netflix.
On Netflix.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Massively into that.
Bella
Ciao.
Yes.
So I've got about 9 or 10 versions of it on my phone. So we played. I've got like a really good mix of it, which is it's called a Hugel mix. Brilliant, and I love it. And we got a couple of Spanish girls there at the moment, Spanish ladies who do the physio stuff. So I'm trying to get them to teach me the words as we speak. But a Money Heist is an absolute.
Love that.
Diamond of a show.
Love that.
Brilliant show.
Like that. It's a little bit difficult at first, isn't it, trying to get over the lip reading or whatever, but after a while it's...
What season you at, Matt? Where you at?
I think it was season 4 I finished at.
Season 4?
Yeah.
Where you at, Squeeze?
I'm well beyond. Seriously, I'm on about 2, because what I do, I'm one of these people, like, let it go out, and then I'll watch it.
Smash it all.
Do you? Yeah.
Honestly, because I'm quite an addictive person, so I'll go. I can't just watch 1 or 2. Boom.
That's what I done. I banged out all of them in about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I was addicted to it.
I'm the same, mate.
Yeah, addicted to it. I've started watching all the outtakes. Everything. I've watched everything on it. Even on my phone. Look at my phone. My phone. Where's the phone gone? I don't know what I'm doing now. It was screenshot. Let's get that off.
Oh my God, you have, yeah.
Well, they would have mentioned, but it's got money iced on the top.
Brilliant.
Money, everything
Perfect.
around there is money iced.
Perfect.
Get rid of them, whatever it is.
Oh, wow.
Money iced with characters on there.
Jeez.
What more do you
Just
need?
addicted to it. Loved it. I loved it. Listen, I've got a wife and 3 daughters, so that's the only. That's the only
You watch it
like.
together or you watch it by yourself?
I was by myself.
Yeah.
I can't watch it.
So I'm going to wrap that up. It's been a having you on. Rich.
Josie,
Honestly, it's
always a
been-
pleasure, mate.
Top man, Scotty.
Top man,
Lovely
mate.
to see you again.
Legend.
Thank you, Matt.
Top man.
Chozzy, yeah, Chozzy's good. Thank you, Charlie.
Top man, Charlie. Brilliant.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for anybody tuning in. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment, tweet, anything you can to just count a little bit more. We really appreciate that. So thank you very much. And we'll continue to keep bringing guests like Rich and so on. So
I'll come and see you boys again tonight.
Yeah.
FA Cup.
FA Cup,
No, yeah, you're in.
FA Cup.
You're in the box.